All right, well, thanks, Andrew. I'm feeling energized from that yoga bit there, so that was good. Well, I'm with FarmQA. We're honored to be here at Grand Farm. Today, I'll actually be talking to you about soil compaction testing, a topic that's not very well covered here in the industry, and we'd like to address it here with FarmQA. Before I do that, I want to give you a little bit of a background about who we are as FarmQA. So we are based here in Fargo, North Dakota, actually at the NDSU Technology Incubator. We were founded for Brian and Howard Dahl. They're actually here with Amity Technology. They have some deep roots in the ag manufacturing industry with Steiger Tractor, Bobcat, Amity, and Concord, and now FarmQA. So FarmQA, we are focused on building digital tools for agronomy is what we strive to do. And what that really means is connecting the agronomist to the grower and their business relationships that they have. So what do we mean when we say digital tools for agronomy? Well, what that means for our product is we really have two facets. One is what we call FarmQA Controller, and that's a web-based platform that you can think of as the engine to house all the different data layers that we bring in as FarmQA. The primary data layer for Controller is FarmQA Scouting. FarmQA Scouting is our mobile app being used by agronomists around the globe to do in-field data collection, anything from taking pictures to GPS locating problem areas to writing product recommendations. All that gets rolled up into a report that goes back to the grower, and as I mentioned, that can be used as an interface between that agronomist and the grower in a business relationship. So additionally, the layers that go into FarmQA beyond scouting would be an integration to soil fertility data, soil moisture probes, weather stations, and finally our compaction testing device. So given today's topic is soil and crop management, we wanted to do a deeper dive on what our compaction tool is and how it can be used in the industry. So first of all, compaction, I'm sure everybody here has an idea of what compaction is, but just in its simplest form, it's the reduction in pore space between soil particles, which then increases the bulk density of soil. This is problematic as it reduces drainage. You can have pooling in the fields. As you can see here, root growth can certainly be limited by compaction. What can cause compaction would be most commonly thought of as wheel traffic, but things like consistent tillage at a certain depth can cause hard pans, along with natural causes for compaction. So why is this a problem? Let's talk numbers. So as you can see here, the University of Minnesota and Iowa State have done extensive research on compaction, and they've come out and said that it can attribute to up to 20% yield loss. So we know that's a significant problem, especially when we're talking about crops like sugar beets, potatoes, and high margins. Additionally, tillage to alleviate that compaction issue can cost over $12 an acre. So we know it's a financial problem, but what can we do about it? Traditionally, agronomists have gone to fields, and if they've had a poor performing portion of a field, they'll go through their tool belt and determine, is it soil fertility issues? Is it related to weather? Is it some variety selection? And if there hasn't been a good answer, a lot of times compaction has been the catch-all because it can't really be tested or quantified very well. That's where FarmQA comes in with our CTS 1000. So the CTS 1000 is our product name, but it's essentially an electrically driven penetrometer. And what that means is it's a rod, as you can see in this picture, that cycles down to 2 feet, and we're collecting data every 1/10 of an inch. What we do with that data is we GPS locate it through the app that the operator is using that is communicating via Bluetooth. So the operator is in the cab of the pickup, clicking the run button, which cycles the penetrometer. A key here is that it has consistent downforce for accuracy and repeatability. The unit itself mounts on the receiver hitch. So as you can see here, it mounts on a UTV alongside a soil sampler. So a big question would be, when do we have time to do compaction testing? And the answer is alongside your soil sampling operations. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Additionally, you can mount it on a pickup truck, and the voltage is coming off the battery from the vehicle. For data collection, as I referenced, there's a mobile application that the operator has in the cab. That's what we've built at FarmQA, and that's what you're seeing here on the right-hand side of the screen. On the vertical axis, the y-axis, you see soil depth, and that is showing you as the probe cycles, you'll be getting real-time data, and we'll be displaying that in PSI in the x-axis. You'll notice that the red line in the middle of the graph is 300 PSI, and that's what universities have determined to be root growth limiting if you get levels above that when you're talking compaction. Additionally, we're collecting the GPS locations as I referenced, and we can map that out in controller, what you're seeing down here, across an entire field or an operation. So what can you do with the data after it's collected? And I'm sure a lot of people have heard of the 4 R's of nutrient management, but we'd like to coin the term of 4 R's of tillage practice. So you can use our CTS to look at, am I using the right tool? Do I need to use a deep ripper? Is it more of a shallow tillage or baskets that I could use? Secondly, let's use the data to look at the right depth. So this one is absolutely key. Traditionally, when people are ripping, they're going to max out the depth of their tool that they have and rip all their farms to that same depth. Well, if we looked at the ROI of that, that is really not economical and not needed. Plus, you're disturbing the soil structure that was there previous to ripping. Additionally, there's the right time. So we can look at, do you rip in the spring or the fall? And finally, the right place. So looking at our data, you can determine if a field even needs to be ripped. If so, what portions? Is it the whole thing? Is it just the north part? So on and so forth. We've also had customers that have assessed the efficacy of cover crops, breaking up compaction. So we have people using turnips, radishes that have a deep taproot to break up compaction below where that ripper can reach it. With our device, you can do before and after tests because of the repeatability and the capability to capture GPS locations to look at that year over year. Same concept can apply to no-till farming and quantifying the benefits. So to wrap up here, FarmQA in the future. So specifically with our compaction unit, we know that the industry is at a point where they're seeing variable depth tillage equipment coming to market. We'd love to see our data coming off the CTS to feed into monitors in cab to adjust in real time the depth of those rippers. More generically, as I mentioned, we're a software company, so we're constantly working on our agronomy, our digital tools, and we're going to continue to build that out. But in the future, we're reaching out to the growers to foster that relationship again between the agronomist and the grower. And we see that through happening with integrations with people here and people online. So we'd love to hear from you, and please reach out with any questions. Thanks again for having us, Andrew.
Thank you so much, Ben. I will take that from you.